Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, your host. And here we are to fight CPS and stop taking our children. This is a live podcast from Southern California, and you found me on Facebook, Fighting CPS, which I've been doing for 14 years. I've talked to over 100 people in all different states of our country and around the world and some other countries. I want to welcome you. I want to give a warm welcome because right now you're in a nightmare that you don't want to be in. If you found out that CPS is not the kind of agency you thought they were, things have, I guess, changed over the years with the philosophy of CPS. And right now, it seems like a lot of cases that our kids are taken because they're always in imminent danger, which is hard to believe. Mine were not in imminent danger and they were stolen. They were trafficking by the Child Protection Services. Welcome, Joe T, I think it is. How come no one says that another lawyer in the world can ask for your child until you've been adjuncted? Cannot ask for your child. Well, Joe, welcome to the show. You're one of my comment people. That's okay. I'm glad that you feel what you feel. You should be able to freely express on this show. And I know that you're going through a lot of pain, Joe. What city and state are you texting from? I'd love to know what part of the United States that you're texting from. And I'm not an attorney, by the way, Joe. I'm a loving father and a husband who have six children, three young children and three grown-up children. And I, too, was taken by CPS when they stole my children in 2010, or actually 2015. And we didn't get our kids back to 2017. What you have, Joe, is that you have a very corrupt system. And when I talk about child protection or CPS, I'm talking about the system, CPS. Child protection system has many names in different states, but it's a branch of social service that deals with the protection of our children from neglect or abuse, but it also deals with the family reunification of bringing back the family together. The biological parents, studies have shown, are the best parents for the children, biological parents. So if there's a hiccup or mistake in life the parents have made, it should be able to be fixed and brought back. Now, Joe T is talking about how can CPS take children from you? Well, how they do it is that you, the people out there, including myself, didn't know the laws. So when a child protection social worker or a case manager, what do you want to give them the title of, come knocking at your door, you let them in your home, you let them take your children, you don't know the laws. So that's how they get it. And lately, every CPS case, the children are always in imminent danger. They must be taken. This is solely for the purpose of making money. It's a $38 billion business. And they get money as long as the case is open and they got your child. When they get your child, they put them in the foster care system. It could be a shelter, a group home, or a single family home with a foster parent. The sad part is there's no protection in the foster care system. My children were abused, sorry to say. One of them was kidnapped by child protection system, and she was forced to divorce her parents, forced to change her name, and forced to seal her birth certificate, and forced to be adopted. I know that for a fact now. It's taken me 14 years to figure a lot of things out. But it all starts off with the allegations, and allegations are made either by a lay person or by a professional person. If it's a lay person, that's where the danger arises because a lot of lay people are taking retaliation on the neighbor next door, on a family member wants to take the child, and they'll say these ridiculous, untruthful things. But the way it's set up, when CPS hears a complaint on the phone, they assume right away that 100% is true. You're guilty until you're proven innocent. Furthermore, they have to start this investigation within 24 hours of the call. And they're going to use the police to intimidate you. Now, what I mean by that is that they'll get the police to help them enforce what they believe is right. What they believe is right. Now, I had a social worker the last couple of days from Maryland who disagreed, and she was nice enough to tell me some of the things, but I don't know if she was a social worker or not. I encouraged her if she wanted to talk on the show, she could have. Now, this podcast is interactive. What that means, all of you that are listened, you found me on Facebook. The show is broadcast on YouTube, and it's produced in the StreamYard application. Now, the first way you can interact with the show is you can text message, as Joe T has done. What I do like to see is the city and state you're from, so I get an idea of whereabouts the situation are if they get consistency among all states. So, Joe, if you can tell me your city states, that'd be great. For the rest of you, if you want to text in a message, it's fine. And make sure your name is in there, and then also the city and state. Now, I do get text messages from outside the U.S. I get from Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana, Mexico, and Mozambique. And they have texted messages about their problem. And I'd like to try to help anyone listening. I have my case to fall back on and explain, and maybe something I can do. People have called me back later and said when I told them they're able to get their children back. So I don't want anybody to give up or throw in the towel. It may look that way. It may be discouraging. Some of you may have lost your children or still trying to fight to hang on. And I know what it is. My 12-year-old daughter was kidnapped or trafficked by the child protection system. And in California, it's called the Child Protection Services. This CPS was very corrupt. And I'm speaking from firsthand. They're in Southern California, and all they're interested in is money. You know, they get $20,000 per child per month. Multiplied times 3, that's $60,000. If they have 100 kids, look how much money that is so quick. So quick. They're not interested in family reunifications. They're not interested in parents. They make promises they don't keep. They lead you on and drop you high and dry. They use your past experiences in foster care, if you're once in foster care, or if you've had this case before and you've been in trouble with CPS before. Their sole purpose is to really tear you down, to make you really feel so bad. Look at Joe T. He comes into the room and he's swinging and swaying. about how can they take our children. Well, they take it because we don't stop them. We don't stop them. Uh, okay. So here you are faced with an agency you may not know about. They're not friendly. They are not transparent. They're very deceiving, and they will take your children. So I encourage you all to text in. Please state your name and then also the city and state you're from. Another way to be a part of this podcast that I'd love for you to do is call in. You can call in at 626 698 0990, and I'll put you on speakerphone. Your face will not be shown, but you'll be able to speak about your case and maybe help out others. So I really encourage you all to call in at 626 698 0990. Now, if you're not able to really talk on the show and you'd like to talk on the show later in another date, that's great. I have I have 14 podcasts, 2 shows a day, morning and evening. One at 10 in the morning, another one at 7 at night, and that's all Pacific Standard Time. Now, tomorrow and Sunday only, I have a show times for 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Sunday it'll be at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. And I encourage you all to write into my producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com and tell her what particular time of show you want to be on. Maybe the morning show, the afternoon show, you want to be on Monday or Wednesday or Friday, whatever. And that way you can be a guest speaker and guarantee that time slot to talk. And I'd love to have you talk there. Anyway, that's the email, Grace, my producer, and I really thank for all the hard work she does at vincentwdavis.com. It's scrolling across the bottom. So I have my phone number up to call in, and I have the scrolling that part there. Now, one of the first rules I want to go over is the most important rule. That is, we need to hire you need to hire an attorney. And why? You probably say, why do you need an attorney for? They cost money. They won't help me. Well, I thought I could fight the CPS. I tried for a year and a half. And all I did is I further delayed, and that may be one of the reasons why my daughter has not come back. So I hired an attorney a year and a half later and got my sons back. So I think it's important. I mean, I had to go to extreme to get the money. I know the money is a big factor. My house is too much mortgage out. I had a first and second, it was maxed out. And so I had very little equity. And by the time I sold the house, I paid off my two big loans and very little left. It was enough to pay the attorney. So I sacrificed the work of my home for 4 years I worked for and chalked it off that that's life, you know. You're born in this world with nothing, and I guess you leave this world with nothing. I just like to leave this world as a loving man who cared about people, who did a lot for people. I've done a lot of volunteer work in my life, and I care about people, and I especially care about my family. My family is very precious to me. And unfortunately, I was going through some hard times in 2010 when I was brutally attacked by the false accusations by lay people. It's my wife's family that was doing it. I did not know about this too much later, which I knew then it would never have happened. I would have gotten to the root of it. But that was hard. That was really, really, really hard. So we're talking here that you need somebody that knows what CPS is all about, somebody that can navigate and fight and knows the law, because you have to know the law because they have money and they have great attorneys. They are corrupt. And we're not going to change them overnight. But we do need to have something to fight for us. And you'll probably say, wait a minute, I have a public defender. Well, the court-appointed attorney in family law is really bad. They're barely an attorney. I don't even know if there are any family law attorneys. Their caseload is 20 or more. They won't have time for your case. They won't talk outside of the court. They usually come in to play at your first court appearance, and you get them at the last minute. No time to prep or anything, and they're in such a heavy caseload, they don't even remember who one person is or the other person. So it's very important that you get a professional attorney. And you can, as I say, people ask, well, how do you find an attorney? Well, you go to the Google and you type in family law attorneys. And then you scroll down and you get all the attorneys that are close to you, and you pick 10 of them. Now, you got these 10 names of people that are supposedly family law attorneys, but you know nothing about them. That's why you got to pick 5 of them that have fought with CPS or beaten CPS or gotten their kids back. Those 5 are the ones you're going to phone call and interview and see which kind of chemistry you have with them. And then from there, you can hire. Now, attorney is just like a surgical doctor doing open heart surgery. CPS is like open heart surgery. They're very, very bad. They lie. And they're very deceiving. And in open heart surgery, that is a medical doctor who's gone to medical school, that has a license, that did an internship, and has done a mentor of other doctors before he'll cut into you and work on your heart. The same thing goes through for the child protection system. You need to go to CPS. You need to have somebody that knows how to navigate, that knows how to fight CPS, that has fought CPS and won CPS and gotten the children back. That's the kind of attorney you want to find from that list of 10. And right now I have one that will save you, and you can call him and everything else. His name is Vincent W. Davis, and he is a family law attorney with many years of experience of family law and fighting CPS and getting the kids back. He's even sued them in federal and state courses with civil lawsuits and won. He's a trial attorney. He knows how to fight, and he will get your kids back. All you need to do is call him at 888-888-6582. Say you want to speak to Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has right now a 30-minute consultation with a fee of $60 to talk to you for 30 minutes. And he'll talk to you about the strategies and how to get your kids back. He'll talk about the strategies of fighting CPS and the strategies of getting your kids back. And after you talk to him, you may want to retain him, depending on the chemistry of how you get along. And he'd be fair with you and give you a fair retainer price. And he goes to any state. He goes to Northern California. He works primarily out of Southern California, but he'll be Northern California. And, last week or a couple weeks ago, he's Oklahoma, then Arizona. He bounces around. So he's an experienced law attorney, and he's somebody that you should talk to. And for 30 minutes, he can help you with the strategies of how to fight CPS and get your children back. Just call in 888-888-6582. Say that you want a consultation with Mr. Davis for 30 minutes. And then when you call in, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And when you do talk to Mr. Davis, you want to make sure that you say that Bob Pace sent you. That's really important. That's really important there. So that rule number one is it'll save your life. You'll make you feel at ease once you contract an attorney to represent you. And it's as simple as a phone call. Now, I have two other rules I want to get out. Rule number 2 is you want to have a clean notebook to write in your notes about all the incidents that happened with CPS. You write the date and time, and after the date and time, you list the people that were involved. The next line would be describing the incident. If you need more, then take more lines. But you want to describe the incident. They took your child. You went to the social services office. They made you do a test. You write the incident. Every incident is separate. And then you want to write the outcome. How did this incident end up? Was it in your favor? Did it not drop? Or maybe it hasn't ended yet. Maybe it's going to take some time to end it. So leave yourself some space to write, how the incident was concluded. And then skip a bunch of lines, put the next incident. And then the next incident, the next incident. You want to keep track of them because you'll need that information later when you work with these people. And you have to fight them. A good set of notes will. I did not take notes. I should have. That was a mistake on my part. I did not hire an attorney. I should have. Now, rule number 3 is the one that is very critical when you're dealing with CPS and police. First of all, you don't want to talk to them. You want to be courteous, but simple answers. No, yes, no, yes. Also, if they want to get in your home or you're in the hospital, they want to take your child, you say no. Do not do that. A lot of people don't realize that. They need a court order, a warrant to take your child away or to come into your home. Your home, you're protected by your constitutional rights. It's just that when they sit on your property, they have to have a warrant to search your property, to talk to you, those kinds of things. The less you say, the less they'll use against you. If you're a talker like I am, you end up saying too much and they use it against you. It was terrible when I was going through it. It was terrible. And I wish I just said no. I believed in the system. I believed in the police, and it was a mistake on my part. I had my visors down, or I wasn't really paying attention to things. So you do not need to talk to the police or the social workers. In fact, one way to get out of the whole mess is just say, I understand what you're saying. I need to speak to my attorney first. Or I just need to speak to my attorney. We'll get back to you. Always ask for a business card because sometimes they lie about their names. And the same thing goes for the phone number. You need something legit there. And then you want to start taking your notes. As I said, rule number 2, because your case is building. And they are doing the same thing. They're investigating you from an allegation that could be from a professional or a layperson. But whatever you do not allow them in your home because they'll take your child. They think every case is the same and it's in imminent danger, and that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. You want to understand them. You want to find out what it's about. And all you have to do is be a good listener and say yes, no kind of answers. And take the business card of the person there and do contact an attorney. If you haven't contacted one, then you contact Mr. Davis. Now, he has a calendar that you can schedule, by the way. Let me see if I can put it in here and see if it comes up. Something new that I've not yet understood lately, so let me go ahead and see if I can put that up there. Okay, I had to start off wrong. Uh-huh. I'm a very slow typist here. Okay. Okay, it's http then calendar.com. /, Law Office VWD, Law Office VWD / Bob Pace. This is the link to schedule a conference. Just click that link and you can schedule a conference there. That is the link. So as I was talking about rule number 3, I was saying that, you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to socialize with them because anything you say will be used against you. Also, if they come to your home and you're outside with them, don't let them in your home. If you're inside the home, don't answer the door. You don't have to. You have a phone and answer machine. They can call or they can send you mail. You have a mailbox. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. That's the link for the calendar. That's the link for the calendar. All right, we've gone about 30 minutes into the show. We have 30 minutes left. I'd like to repeat that this is a live podcast, that you can interact by texting me, like Joe started off with, but then I didn't hear any more from Joe. If you're still out there, Joe, I'd love to know what city and state you're from and more about your concerns. Um, Also, if you want to talk on the show right now, it's open. Please call 626 698 0990. I'd love to have you talk, and maybe I can help you, our listeners can help you, and so forth. So that's call in 626 698 0990. And if you don't want to um, uh, call in right at the moment, or you want to talk later, you could email my producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. It's scrolling across as a ticket on the bottom of my screen. So it's very, very, important. If you want to get it out and talk, I'd love to hear from you. Instead of my people hearing my voice, I may get bored by now. Also, remind everybody, if you need help, please call Mr. Davis at 888-6582. I want to thank him very much for producing this podcast. But he's only a phone call away. And I just gave you the link of how you can check the calendar of me. Now, since we have nobody here to talk about, I'll go over some of the subject matters that can help you out with your case. Now, CPS is not perfect. For instance, in West Virginia, a judge demands record, says CPS failed to adequately investigate kids locked in a Smith-Son-Phil shed. I don't want to burst their bubbles, but, there's a lot of problems with CPS. And that statement right there says a lot. Says a lot. Good evening. Hello. Yeah, who's this? Who is this? Oh boy, we had someone call in and I lost him. Let me see if I can call him back. Hello, Bob Pace here.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, who's this? Hello? Oh boy. I will call them and see if it works better.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Who's this? Yes, I hear you. Do you hear me?
Wow, there's a bad connection.
Oh, you don't hear me?
What's that?
You don't hear me?
I can't hear you at all.
Really? Something wrong with my phone. Didn't have that problem before.
Barely.
Yeah, is this better? This,
Hello?
this is Bob Pace again. Do you hear me?
Oh, now I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
That was strange.
Yeah, I know. It took me a couple calls. Who am I talking to?
My name's Sheila. I'm calling from Billings, Montana.
Okay, you're from
I'm the
Billings,
grandmother.
Montana. I don't think I've had anybody from Montana. That's way up north. And your
Oh, really?
yeah, and your first name is
Sheila.
Sheila?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Glad to meet you, Sheila. Have you listened to my
You too, Bob.
podcast?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I have been for, yeah, this is my, I think, third time I've listened to you.
Oh, okay. It must be
Yeah.
pretty boring. I try to say the
No.
different arrangements. But anyway, how can I help you? How can I help you?
Well, I'm the grandmother, and four of my grandchildren were taken from my daughter in January due to drug use and domestic violence. And
Okay.
they had started treatment and all kinds of stuff before CPS even came in and took the kids.
What is the ages of the
But
children? What are the ages of the children?
they're 6, 8, 9, and 12.
Okay, 6, 8, 9, and 12. When the
Yeah.
allegations were made about domestic violence, was it physical? Did they do it in front of the kids?
No, it was behind closed doors.
Okay. So it was not in front of the
Yeah.
kids. Were the kids tested positive for drugs?
No, none of them.
So the kids were
Nope.
participating in the drugs. Now I know
No.
doing drugs with children is wrong. And I know that
No, they were doing drugs with kids. No.
okay,
They
I'm
never
not
did
saying
drugs
they
with
were,
children.
but this is what I'm trying to find out. What was the extreme um, danger the children were in? Why did they have to be taken?
Actually, it's a vendetta against my daughter by her ex, and he's been trying for 5 years to get her,
Who's
and
this?
he finally did.
Who's this?
It's my daughter's ex. My daughter's ex. He's the one that reported it, and he told CPS, he threatened them. He said, if you don't make this a priority, then I'm suing the hell out of you guys. So
This is
yeah,
from a
it's been a
social
nightmare.
worker? A social worker said that?
No, this is what he told them when he reported it.
Okay, is this the partner of your daughter?
No, it's the ex partner from 5 years
Okay.
ago.
Is he the father of the children?
He's the father of one of them, the youngest.
Oh, the youngest. But the other three have different
Yeah.
fathers. Do the other three have all different
They have a
fathers or
different
all
father.
the same?
No, they have one different father, and he committed suicide on February 4th, 13 days after they took the kids.
No,
So
what happened to him?
going
What happened to him?
He committed suicide.
Oh, this is terrible.
I
You know,
know.
the children are the
And
suffering
awful.
because the children need a father and they need a mother.
Yes, they do.
And
Yes, they do, especially now.
right. So, did this man that committed suicide do any domestic violence or drugs with your daughter?
No, no, not at all.
So why?
He has a different boyfriend, but they're both sober. I mean, they've gone through therapy. They do 3 UAs a week. They go to parenting classes. They go to domestic violence classes. They've really stepped it up. I'm really proud of my daughter for pulling herself out of the 6-month stupor, And she was a general manager at a place that she had 30 employees, and she kept her job and everything. But when they did drugs, they were violent with each other. It was yelling and screaming. It wasn't really hitting. It was just the yelling and screaming.
Well, that's not good in front of children. That really isn't. And we all have to learn. You have to learn from an anger management class is to do a timeout. Parents should also do timeouts as well as children when the behavior is extreme. And so if they walk away and come back later and discuss it, it's a lot better than sitting there trying to argue and argue and argue.
That's right. And they've learned that. Because that's what they don't even fight or argue now. I mean,
So this current boyfriend of your daughter who has the youngest child there, he's trying to pardon?
What'd you say?
The current boyfriend who has the youngest child with your daughter, he's the one.
No, he doesn't. They don't have any kids together. These two. My daughter and her boyfriend, they don't have children together. It's the ex, and he has 3 of the kids. There was 4 of them there, but the 12-year-old got sent to a foster home 50 miles away because he did not get along with the ex-stepdad. And plus, he's going through a lot losing his dad. And he couldn't handle him. And 3 of them are ADHD really bad. And he just couldn't handle him. And he threw him down steps and told him to get the F out of his house. And a lot of different things happened. And nobody believed my grandson, but they believed the guy, and it's so sad.
Okay.
But my thing is, they won't. They just recently, 2 weeks ago, started letting me see my grandson at the supervised visit, and I haven't seen the 3 youngest since March 9th, and I've seen them for maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what they're holding against me. I live with my daughter, for one. And so I think they're really mad because I'm supporting her, because when I see change, I'm there, and I will support my daughter. She is my child.
Well, why would they be mad at you because you're supporting your daughter? Why would they be mad at you?
I think it's the ex that's done all this, because everything was fine between he and I until the dad committed suicide, and I was supporting my daughter because she's the one that told the kids about their dad committing suicide. And there was a lot of family members there. We were at a hotel, and he didn't like the fact that I went up and gave my daughter a hug and told her, I'm here for you, because I see change. I said, it's tremendous.
Well, she's your daughter. You should give her a hug. I mean, we all love our children.
That's right.
We all love our children, and they make mistakes. And we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're not made with a handbook. We don't have all the rules about life or relationships or how to raise children. We learn from our parents. Now,
that's right.
Did your daughter growing up with you have any problem with CPS?
No, no.
Okay.
Thank God.
And did she have a father to grow up with?
No. Well, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. It wasn't her father, but her stepdad.
What happened to her biological father?
He's been out of the picture since before she was born.
Okay. Why did he leave her? Why did he leave you?
Because I was pregnant.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
To all your fathers out there, it's really important. It's really important that, we support. I know, but it's so easy to get a girl pregnant and the guy will turn his back, and that's not right.
Oh, I know.
That's not right. So all your fathers listening out there, be a man, and go up to it. It's not the end of the world. You can work things out.
That's right.
Because that child is going to be really hurting for a real dad and mom.
Right. He missed out. He missed out a lot because she's a great kid. I mean, she's 34 now, but
Yeah.
She's a wonderful person.
Well, what got her
Really.
interested in drugs?
It was a fluke thing. She was moving, and she said she was going to try meth, and it helped her get pack and unpack and everything. Well, she didn't stop for 6 months.
Well,
And
what is meth? I mean, I'm not a drug expert. I never did drugs in my life. I've been to Woodstock in
right.
'69, so I know what drugs are. I've been around them in the '60s. But what does meth do for you? What's so good about meth?
I guess it just gives energy and makes you, clean. And I don't know, but she was on it, and then it turned into using with her boyfriend, and then it turned into them arguing and yelling and screaming all the time. It was terrible.
What does meth do? Does it alternate your mind? Does it?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank God she's not. She will never touch it again as long as she lives. She said there's no way.
Right. Right.
And she said this was one heck of a wake up call, and she sees where she was at fault, and she admitted to them when they took the kids.
Well, doesn't CPS see that her boyfriend's causing this?
No, because he was the first one to get sober. He got sober first.
Okay.
And that's before they took the kids, and then she did. December 27th, she stopped using, but they took the kids January 22nd.
Okay, do you know where in the plan? I mean, where are they at? I mean, they probably already had the detention initial hearing, right?
Right. Her lawyer. She talked to her lawyer today, and they're going to do a status hearing because CPS hasn't come around. Nothing. The only thing that they do. My daughter is able to take my grandson with supervisor, of course, to the mall and stuff. And last weekend, she bought him stuff for his room, decor for his room, at the foster home.
Okay. All right.
Because he's been being good, for one, and his grades are really good, and she wanted him to be comfortable. Well, the CPS caseworker texted her and told her, bad move, Kristen. You don't do that. All you're doing is trying to buy their love. And she's like, no, I'm rewarding good behavior and making my son comfortable. And she said, not cool. And
now this social worker, what's her back? Is it him or her?
It's a her.
All right, and what's her background?
I have no idea.
Does she have a college education, a college degree in social work?
I have no idea.
Has she taken social work classes? Has she mentored a long time in the system? Does she have a license? Does she have a certificate? These are the problems that are problems with me and social workers. They're not required to have a degree. Now, I had an argument because on my show, I had a social worker from Maryland who said that she had a degree in clinical psychology and that she had further training by the state of Maryland for 6 months to be a good social worker. It was interesting, but I later found out that maybe that social worker was stalking another one of my, people that call in all the time and stalking her because there seems to be a lot of vendettas going on. In my case, there was a big vendetta because what happened was I was exposing the Orange County social worker system to how bad they were. I had gone to the top dog. This guy was the director of social worker, and I was fighting him by writing emails, having meetings, being respectful, and showing their problems and what they're violating my constitutional and my civil rights. And I should have known because when I met with him, his building was the Taj Mahal, like India. It was also the emerald green building of the Wizard of Oz. And when I met with him, he had so much gold around his neck, I thought he'd fall over. It was all about money. It went in one ear, went out the other ear. He could care less about my rights. He could care less. I was 65 at the time going through all this.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm supposed to have some respect. I had no respect from them. I stood up to them. I stood up to all his supervisors and assistants, and all they did is they took revenge. So bad that we were cross examining the social worker who was 22 at the time, who had no training, and all she could talk about was her Gucci purse and her eyelashes and her eye makeup and her clothes and her BMW car because they gave bonuses. Anyway, when she's being cross examined in family court, my attorney, and I got the attorney after a year and a half, proved her in a lie. And she told us, the parents, that you're never going to see your daughter again, and forced our 12-year-old daughter to divorce us, divorce her brothers, divorces her family members, her relatives, and everything, change her name, seal the birth certificate, and be adopted. And she's 21 now. I've not seen her since she's 12, but I know that a 12-year-old doesn't know how to do all those things. And that social worker has gone on to hurt other families. The Orange County Child Protection Service is one of the worst cases I've heard. I mean, I've talked to a lot of them. And to all these social workers that are listening on my show, I don't mean ill will towards you, but you guys got to be honest. You got to follow the code. You got to, be fair. Not every child is in imminent danger. Just because a mother takes drugs doesn't mean that's going to be hurting the child. If she keeps doing that, it could, but she needs to have corrective behaviors. She needs opportunity by parenting classes, by programs to prove that he's a capable mother. Because the kids, your grandkids, need a mother there. And also, did they offer, when they first took away the child, did they offer a safety plan?
Nope.
They're supposed to initiate a safety plan where you meet with the social workers and they help you determine where the child will stay until you take care of your issues. A safety plan is like you give them a list of family members they can stay with. So you pick the family members and you verify they're okay, and then the children stay there. They don't go into a shelter, a group home, or a single family home with foster care parents. They don't go into foster care system. I'm sorry, say again.
They went with the guy that reported her.
Now, the guy that recorded it, that was the boyfriend of your daughter.
The ex-boyfriend, yeah.
Well, okay, the ex-boyfriend of your daughter. Now, what did that recordings have? What was so bad in the recordings?
Just the fighting and the drug use. That's it. That was it. I mean, they went to school. They were fed. They had clothes. I mean, she didn't neglect the kids, believe me.
Well, I know. So what intimate danger? I always ask that question. I know I have repetition about it because CPS never... Well, the drug use is not imminent danger, meaning that at that moment in time, the child's not going to be killed.
I know.
If the drug issue goes on in time, the child could be neglected, the food be paid. I agree. They could be in imminent danger, but the way they construe that is right away. Now, imminent danger to me is when a child is being slammed against the wall or being hit physically, unnecessary punishment, being starved to death, no clothing, no school, and they're at a critical time. That's imminent danger. But to take a child from a setting, like my family, the only thing that we had in our whole life, there was a problem at age 60, I lost my job through no fault of my own. And then my family was pulled apart through alienation, through child trafficking, through abuse, and a neglect by them. They did not protect my children.
Exactly. And they're not protecting these kids either, at all. Not one.
Yeah.
Because this guy uses as punishment, he takes the kids' stuff that was their dad, like they have necklaces with their dad's ashes. He takes that from them.
Yeah.
Awards from his work for Employee of the Year and stuff.
Right.
From him. Told my grandson he was going to burn his football cards. All the stuff that he does, and they have an excuse for him. Well, he's got a lot on his plate. Really? You think these kids don't? You know?
Yeah.
And he tells the kids, you want to end up like your brother? You can go to foster home.
Okay, one
Oh my God.
one moment, ma'am. I wanted to acknowledge some people that come into the room. Lee, Mina, we can't hear her. Okay. Maybe I need to turn this so you can hear. I did not know that they couldn't hear you. Um,
Oh,
she's been in. It's not your fault. If you could speak up a little bit or turn your volume up.
okay.
We are real human. It's coming to the room, and she made a comment. Does it? Doesn't it suck when the supervisor is late? Figures they're writing that down. She said, this is one person there. We're real human again says, what about when we have to wait for the supervisor and we won't even pick up our child without the supervisor? Terrific. I agree with you. We're real human there. She further says, I have completed my case plan and 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 done everything they ask of me, and they still are trying to hold my youngest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that should be a crime, and I agree. That should be a
I do
crime.
too.
You
That's
know,
so.
CPS needs to be accountable, and you as a grandparent should not have to go through. She further says, "I have my own home food and in a work program. I don't understand why I can't have my child." I'm so sorry. We're really human. She's been on before, and she's one of my regulars that are in the room there. But back to your case. Um, let me see here. Now in Montana, is this a big city you're in?
It's one of the biggest in Montana, yes.
Okay. Now, have you guys tried to go to a supervisor or the
Oh
director
yeah,
to make a complaint?
yeah. You
And
never. We leave messages and never get a call back. I mean, the intake worker. I'll tell you what. She's the one that I really want to go after because she lies so much, and we have proof. We have proof against all her lies.
yeah,
And she was just a terrible person. I mean, she called me one night and talked to me for almost 50 minutes, 50 minutes, okay? And I thought we were on the same page. She was going to, I'm working on getting a time set for you to pick up the kids and spend time with them and blah, blah, blah. I said, I hope you told me that 100 times. And it's not happened. So let's get this done. And then, they text my daughter the day after they placed my grandson 50 miles away at a foster home. The day after, they text her and told her. And it's like, what? Are you kidding me? These people have no heart, no feeling. I despise CPS. They do need to be held accountable. They are rotten people. They're a waste of human air, I'll tell you what.
yeah. For all you listeners out here, this is real. This is from a real person talking about her granddaughter. She's from Montana. And it sounds like whether you're from California, Montana, Boston, Massachusetts, um, Richmond, Kentucky, Atlanta, Georgia, San Antonio, Texas, even the Rosebud Reservation, the Lakota Sioux Reservation in Rosebud, South Dakota. I've heard nothing but horror stories. And it seems like after 500 people I've talked to, they all have the same line. They take your children that aren't in imminent danger and they do it for the sole purpose of money. Money is a driving force for these people.
Oh my God.
And, in my case, they were getting $20,000 per child. And I had three of them. That was $60,000 per month.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And they were getting that from the federal government. Our federal government is always worried about balancing the budget, where they get the money to pay. They are not watchdogging their programs. No one watchdogs the CPS. There's no board of directors. There's no board of supervisors. There should
Oh my
be.
gosh.
There should be accountability. The lady Faye in Richmond, Kentucky, said they investigated the CPS and found out $389,000 unaccounted for. There are YouTube
Wow.
there are YouTube videos of people
Oh
in
my gosh.
CPS talking to other social workers that if you don't do this or that, you lose your federal funds. There's encouragement by CPS
Wow.
directors and supervisors
Mm,
to have CPS work. There's videos of this. I've seen it firsthand. I know it
Makes my
firsthand.
skin crawl. It's sickening.
It is. It really is. It's so sickening because,
How do we go about changing this? I mean,
well,
how do we, as
there are
ladies,
advocates that do want to change it, but it's hard. And my problem is that I've run out of time. I didn't realize that I've already gone over my time of 1 hour here.
so
So
sorry.
that's okay. I'm so glad you
Sorry.
called in, and I hope that you call in again. I
I
hope
will.
all of
I
you
will.
that have listened to me will call in or join my show again. Now, tomorrow morning,
Amen.
I'm doing an early show. Now, in Montana, it shouldn't be that early, but I'm doing one at 4 o'clock in the morning, my morning
Oh wow.
show. Normally, I'm
Okay.
on at 10 o'clock, but I'm doing it really
Great.
early. And I'm doing it again on Sunday. But the evening show tomorrow night will be at 7 p.m. So please come in at 10 p.m. your time. I think you're 3 hours ahead of me, right?
I think it's 2. I think it's 2 hours right now.
Okay, so call me in tomorrow night and we can finish what we have to say there.
Okay, Bob. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I thank you. And as I say, I went 2 minutes over my time. And again, thank you for all your listeners. Um, it's very important you keep fighting. God bless you all.
Yep.
And I'll see you then tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time.